So let's take a listen here to Tucker Carlson's comments at the TPUSA event on Jeffrey Epstein. Let's take a listen.
And so the real question is not, was Jeffrey Epstein a weirdo who was abusing girls? Yes, we can answer that. The real question is, why was he doing this, on whose behalf, and where did the money come from? And those are the questions that need to be answered. And I think it's entirely fair to ask them. And it's not adequate to say anyone who asked them is somehow desecrating the memory of little girls who died in Texas. I'm not going to put up with that answer. I don't care who gives that answer. That is not acceptable. And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? It's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying that. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying that. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. And you have a right to expect that your government will not act against your interests, and you have a right to demand that foreign governments not be allowed to act against your interests.
Trump is a wounded lion, and the hyenas are circling him. They smell weakness. He has never been weak since the Biden administration charged him with felony. So despite the fact that Trump has ordered the MAGA universe to stop talking about the Epstein case, people like Tucker Carlson and some podcasters, even Megyn Kelly, but strongly Tucker Carlson, has been emphasizing it a lot. So even Fox News smells Trump's weakness, and they want to chip away at him, to give others permission to go at it. So Fox is testing the waters to see how far they can go with criticizing Trump, because they have the pulse of the conservative. I mean, they blow their competitors out of the water. CNN and MSNBC doesn't even come close. So they're good at what they do. And they know that their viewers have appetite for the Epstein case. Over the years, the right-wing podcasters have been marinating their audience about this Epstein case, saying that Bill Clinton and Bill Gates and all the Democrats were on the list. And they said when Trump gets into office, he's going to expose all of them. Now that Trump is in office, he's just trying to shush that away. There's nothing here, folks. That's what he's trying to tell them. But they ain't buying this. They ain't biting. And Fox News and a lot of podcasters like that always are very critical of Trump. They know that, and they see the weakness. So Fox News management have always hated Trump, but they're afraid of him. See, Tucker Carlson said it on one of his shows that the Fox News executives, they hated Trump. And even though they fired Tucker Carlson, they still wanted Tucker Carlson to run for office against Trump. And they promised to back Tucker Carlson against Trump. Of course, Tucker Carlson said he didn't run because he liked Trump. I don't know how much there is to that, but I think now he smelled blood in the water. And you can see that they feel like Trump is weaker now than any time in his administration or any time since the Biden administration charged Trump with felony charges. So I'm just trying to give you a context here, because for once in a long time, Fox News has disobeyed Trump. They launched an extensive segment discussing Epstein exactly what Trump ordered the MAGA universe not to do. But Fox is testing the waters. So they didn't use their most pro-Trump shows like Fox and Friends. Those guys didn't even touch it. They didn't even mention the Epstein case. So what Fox did is they unleashed Howard Max, who is kind of a middle of the road conservative. And he dedicated about 10-minute segment on the Epstein case and criticizing Trump. And he brought in some conservatives to talk about it. And they tore Trump to shreds.
There has been a tremendous backlash among some of the president's MAGA supporters about the DOJ's decision not to release the Jeffrey Epstein files, despite a dramatic buildup, on grounds that there is no list of the pedophile's clients and that he didn't commit did commit suicide, in prison. 6 years ago, Trump ally Laura Loomer demanded that Attorney General Pam Bondi resign.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well.
We knew Epstein didn't keep a list of people he was blackmailing in his diary, but there should be case files, mountains of them, mountains of paperwork going back decades. Where'd that go?
And it seems that the FBI and other government agencies care more about managing the narrative than actually just revealing the information that needs to be revealed.
Joining us now, Sarah Bedford, investigations editor of the Washington Examiner. And in Colorado, Lucy Caldwell, a board member at Renew America. Sarah, the refusal to release anything from Jeffrey Epstein has really struck a nerve, deep nerve, among many Trump supporters, many people in the MAGA movement who say they feel betrayed. Why?
Yeah, I think it's obvious that this is a huge PR disaster for the Trump administration. There's no way for them to spin their way out of this. I think the Epstein issue had, for a lot of MAGA types, became a proxy for whether this DOJ was going to live up to their very high expectations. And obviously, Bongino, Patel, everyone involved in this sort of failed on that. I don't think they could have scripted a better way to keep the conspiracy theories alive than the way they handled it, promising that a lot of information was going to come and then sort of backtracking without any real explanation. I think this is only going to add fuel to the conspiracies around Epstein.
Lucy, is the big buildup by Pam Bondi and others a major part of the reason? I mean, this is, you would think it'd be a two-day story, but there's so much anger about this. Why is it such a letdown for the MAGA crowd?
Well, I spend a lot of time thinking about who MAGA base voters are. And one of the things that's really interesting, look, many people treat MAGA like it's a monolith, and it's certainly not. There are people who come to MAGA for a lot of different reasons, whether it's MAHA or it's concern over immigration. There are a lot of different issues. But they all are and report being super concerned about sex trafficking, super concerned about the issues around the Epstein specter, right? Why? Because they have been conditioned by Trump and by MAGA for years to believe whatever issue you came in caring about into this movement, this is a thing of grave concern. So they've been conditioned for years on this, and now they're being told nothing to see here. And if you question this at all, even though you have supposedly been part of the free-thinking crew that's truth-seeking and we're your truth seekers, now you're the morons. And it's especially interesting to see the betrayal of right-wing media, of folks who feel like they perhaps have given the benefit of the doubt to people like Pam Bondi, to people like Donald Trump over the years, because they think that the left-wing media, so-called, is corrupt. And now they're seeing, how is this different from what they're criticizing? I think this is a turning point, Howie.
Well, Pam Bondi's not going anywhere. Trump did a long post saying she was doing a fantastic job. Alina Habba talking about the Epstein case.
In Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing.
This matter at the polls. God knows the FBI and DOJ aren't going to do anything And so it just seems to me, and we saw some of the clips, that yes, MAGA is a broad movement, but there's a great reluctance to let go of this. There's even talk it'll affect the midterm elections. I'm not so sure that part is true. Lucy.
Well, it may or may not affect the midterm elections, but it certainly reflects a fracture point. And as I said, I do think that this is a turning point. Whether or not this was a cover-up, now there's almost like a cover-up of a cover-up going on. And Pam Bondi and others are insulting the intelligence of their base.
So what Fox is trying to do is they see a weakness in Trump. Trump has never been this vulnerable before, not for a long time. And he knows it. That's why he's been making so many mistakes since Elon Musk announced on X that Trump is on the Epstein file. The mistakes like attacking Iran, which completely goes against his principle of no new wars, and that could have gone really, really bad. And announcing new tariff every 2 days. You see, people don't even respond to his tariff anymore. Remember when he first announced his tariff and everybody was terrified? The market was on a swing like never before. But it seems like every 2 days he's announcing a new tariff and reversing his tariff. All that is mistake. He's trying to draw attention from this Epstein file case. So he's definitely losing touch. And people like Tucker Carlson can smell that.